What can I say? The show made me crave apples. Death Note, or also known as Desu Noto in Japan, is the 2006 anime based on the manga of the same name created by Sugumi Oba and Takeshi Obata, and tells the story about Light Yagami, a high school kid genius who's so bored with life until one day he stumbles upon the mysterious notebook called the Death Note, containing supernatural powers, in which whoever's name you write in it while thinking about that person shall die. Light starts to take a liking for the Death Note and begins a worldwide massacre on criminals and people who he seems to be unworthy to live, and tries to create a utopian society under the vigilante name Kira. But as he tries to rid the world of criminals, a task force group of criminal detectives created by his father and led by the mysterious figure L are on the hunt for Kira and planning on taking him down. This show is pretty much a cat and mouse game between Light and L, and we see this build up between who's going to take down who first and come out on top. I've heard a lot of buzz about this show when I was barely getting introduced to anime, with some people saying, oh, it's one of the greatest animes of all time, you gotta watch it. And then you got other people over here like saying, nah, it's kinda overrated. Well, I looked it up on Netflix and shockingly finished it pretty fast because it's only 37 episodes long. And what do I think about it? Is it a good anime, and is it one of the greatest shows of all time? Yes and no, but it's so close. This is a really good show, and it is not flawless though, but I will talk about the stuff that I did like first. The first half of the show is so brilliant. I love the animation and the choice of music. The voice acting is so on point, and the intro is so catchy that it is one of my top 10 favorite anime intros of all time. Now, unlike some animes where it takes a few episodes in to get the idea about what the story's about, Death Note starts off very strong in the beginning. This, I can actually say that Death Note has one of the best first episodes that I've ever seen in an anime series. This show always keeps you engaged and has very well written complex characters, like starting off with our very first protagonist, Light Yagami. He's this highly intelligent teen, and we're seeing everything from his point of view, and even though he's constantly killing people left and right, the weird thing about this direction is, in a way, we're kind of rooting for this guy. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't believe that killing anybody is the right thing to do in the first place, but what this show provides us so well is his motivations and reasonings. Like, we get examples where Light saves hundreds of people from a terrorist hostage crisis, or pretty much when Light saves a woman from a group of guys that were about to rape her. Now, even though the cost of it is murder, he's saving countless number of lives and preventing disasters. And from Light's perspective, he doesn't see himself as the bad guy, but more like as this godlike figure who's doing society a favor. And that's what makes his character so interesting, because we understand him even though his actions can be malicious. He is also very clever with his strategies and is always 3 steps ahead of everybody to make sure that he does not get caught or people suspect that he is Kira. But then eventually we do see the character's lust for power get to his head, and eventually it slowly progresses to where the main character becomes the villain of this story, and that's something we don't often get a lot in anime. And the perfect counterpart to this character is L. L is this mysterious crime detective, and there's very little that we know about him. He's just as highly intelligent as Light, and it even theorizes real early on in the show that Light is Kira. So L makes Light a run for his money, to where Light has to get so creative to prove that he looks innocent. L is so likable and well written that there are times that you even want L to succeed as well. So once again, I gotta praise the direction for making us root for both counterparts, and it gets pretty intense in this story. Now let's talk about my favorite character in the entire show, Ryuk. So Ryuk is the Shinigami, basically a god of death that is based on real-life Japanese religion, which I found very interesting. And he is responsible for bringing the Death Note into the human world. I really love his character designs with the spiky hair gothic look and the attitude that he brings to this show. And the voice acting portrayed by Brian Germont in the English dub fits perfectly. And you're probably wondering why he would leave the Shinigami realm and leave his powerful notebook to some random teenager. Was it because it was destiny, or was it because he was trying to find somebody to rid the world and bring back order? Nope. Apparently he just did all this just because he was bored. He just wants to sit back, relax, eat an apple, and watch shit happen into this world. And that is probably one of the most simplest and easiest motivations I've ever heard in anime, but it actually works. And then lastly, we have Misa Amane, who is technically Light's girlfriend? She also possesses another Death Note from a different Shinigami and helps Light out with his plans as Kira and also keeps him undercover. Now, the reason why I put annotations on the word girlfriend is because this relationship is very one-sided. And it also gives off a very Joker Harley Quinn vibe to it. Misa loves Light to death, but Light just manipulates her and says anything he wants to her just to make sure that she does his dirty work for him. So now that I got that stuff out of the way, now I'm going to be talking about some major scenes that will contain spoilers throughout this series. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers, please listen to the caption and drag this video over to where it says in the timeline to avoid anything. But if you really don't care about spoilers, then let's continue. You've been warned. With L interrogating Light that he is Kira, Light devises a plan by giving up the Death Note to Ryu temporarily, which will cause him to lose his memory of everything he ever had with the notebook to prove his false innocence. And here we actually get Light where he's honest as possible. He even considers Kira's acts to be very heinous and wants to take down Kira down himself even though he's unaware that he's that person. And it makes you wonder at times if Light is just another victim to the Death Note as everybody else is. There are even countless interviews where the author says that Light is also the victim, and that had he not found the notebook in the first place, he would have been a successful criminal detective just like his father. But nevertheless, everything goes according to plan with Light gaining back his memory, and this comes the down part of the entire series. Light kills L halfway through the show, and we're given a replacement with L's position, this time with a younger prodigy named Nier. Why? A lot of fans, including myself, were pissed about this decision, and for good reason. I don't even know why, but I mean, sure, I was expecting someone to die, but not halfway through. You guys had such a great run and had everything perfect, but why would you build up these two geniuses in all these episodes to go against one another and kill off one of the best characters? And they try to make Nier smarter and clever than L, and apparently we're supposed to like him, but he just comes off so bland and uncharismatic that I don't give two shits about Nier. In the final episode climax, Nier successfully tricks Light into exposing himself as Kira, and this is where we see Light at his most insane throughout the entire series. The big reveal, Light's diabolical laugh, and the pacing worked so well, but this would have been so much better had it been L to unravel Light as Kira. We do get one final confrontation between Kira and the Authority. Light tries to escape with a bullet wound in his shoulder, and we get these last few minutes of Light running as he gets his flashbacks of what his life was like before he ever got the notebook. The music sets the tone right and symbolizes that this is definitely the end. Ryuk writes Yagami's name into his notebook as what was promised by him in the first episode, that whichever human were to touch the Death Note that has been brought over from the Shinigami world, and thus killing him. The ending was quite predictable, and I was expecting to see the rise and fall of Kira, which I don't have a problem with, and I don't think could have ended in any better way. Except for the part where Nier reveals that Light is Kira and not L. This could have easily been one of the best animes of all time had they not made a certain decision halfway through the show with a certain character, and the ending was pretty predictable as you progress more into the series, which just falls just a little. Now, do I think this is a bad show? No, of course not. This is a really good show. It's one of the best in the early 2000s and will eventually become a classic one day. I do recommend this show to people who have never seen anime. There are 3 shows that I do recommend. That is Cowboy Bebop, Dragon Ball, and this one, obviously, Death Note. I'm going to give Death Note an 8.5 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will be posting more anime reviews in the future, so if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content, and until then, I'll see you in the next video.